Vince McMahon is banned from WWE HQ. Plus, a title match has been added to next week's AEW Dynamite, and there's been AEW fan backlash over the new MJF merchandise. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. Update from the Insiders podcast that Conrad Thompson hosts. He was joined by Tom Carlucci, who worked for Vince McMahon since the 80s. He was let go during the pandemic from WWE, worked in numerous production roles. Carlucci was released during the pandemic, as we say, but his wife remains employed there, and he spoke about McMahon and revealed that McMahon is currently banned from WWE head offices.
Yeah, so he said he can't even walk in the building. He can't step foot anywhere. Every meeting, that goes on over there, you'll never see Vince here again from the TKO people. It is crazy when you think about it. That's his legacy.
He also revealed to Carlucci that the gym that's been built inside WWE HQ was built to specifications made by McMahon and his trainer, and it's a gym that was designed really to suit McMahon's needs. It's a gym that McMahon will never enter into.
Wow.
Which is so I mean, it doesn't surprise what with the allegations that are going on and the ongoing case that potentially could be a private case, potentially could be public. The arbitration argument continues on there. That has been suspended as well as a result of the US Justice Department stepping in with a case for Vince McMahon as well, something that we have well documented on this channel. But with all that going on, Vince McMahon isn't allowed in WWE HQ for a while. Now, many WWE superstars have spoken about McMahon since his departure. The most recent person to speak was Randy Orton, who revealed in an interview that McMahon pushed for Orton to work through a back injury.
Yeah, he said, off the top of my head, and listen, I love Vince. He gave me so many opportunities, but I think it was kind of time for him to move on. It's unfortunate that it happened in the way that it happened, but it's nice having people in charge of me that understand how important it is for you to be home for birthdays and home for Thanksgiving and home for Christmas, etc. I came to him when I was 35 and my back really started going, and I pleaded with him like, man, I got to not do as many shows, maybe do half the tour and be able to recover. And he just looked at me and was like, oh, I need you on those shows. Randy, Mother Nature gets us all. And Randy goes on to say, and to hear that and go, okay, well, I guess there's no other thing I can do other than just wear myself out down to the nub until I can't walk anymore for this man. And all of the opportunities he gave me, it's nice having him out of there. And it's nice having his son-in-law Triple H running the game. Nick Khan's great. Everybody at TKO that's come in and stepped in, they seem to get it. And it's just a different era.
I think the way they care for talent nowadays and make sure that talent is good, and if they need a little bit of break, we're only human, they get it most of the time. That's a big thing that we've seen that has changed in WWE since McMahon's departure. Obviously, production changes are really obvious to see since the departure of McMahon and Kevin Dunn. Obviously, the talent that are being promoted and the way they're being promoted, the way the stories are being told has changed. But there seems to be a lot more aftercare for the wrestlers, it seems, and less of that. I mean, there's less dates for a start.
Yes.
Because, we go back to sort of the heyday of wrestling, and they were like, you were expected to be on the road 5-6 days a week. And I get it. It's the gig that you sign up for, and you know what? And there'll be people that will go, it's a dream job. You need just to get on with it. And I know there'll be people that will say that, and I see where you're coming from with it. But at the same time, even a dream job will wear you down. Like it's a very physically demanding job.
Yeah, exactly. In that in the Christian video that he did with Chris Van Vliet, he said that someone described it as you're getting paid for the inconveniences in your life. Like basically, would you do this job for free? Yes, but don't tell anybody. But you are getting paid basically for the inconveniences of not being there for birthdays, this, that, and the other. Some people might say that and whatever. But how much better is it that talent are able to go off and just have time away to heal from what they've got, from any ailments they have, and also to then that you would hope prolong their career as well. Exactly. And then therefore they then make more money for you going forward, don't they? Because they can wrestle for longer and whatnot.
It's a big movement about a work-life balance. Was it not the Right Honourable J Lo who said, "My love don't cost a thing"? The idea being that, you can't work, you can work and then get paid loads, but then, yeah, sure, all your bills are paid and everything's covered, but then if you're not around, then what's it all for, really? You're building and I think I certainly come from a generation of people where it was like you work and you work and you work to make sure that your family around you has a life. And I'm very lucky to be with a partner who's very much like, I get it, you need to work, but, we need to have a life as well.
Yeah, of course.
And that's important too. So maybe don't work 7 days a week anymore, Tom. And I'm like, maybe I won't.
maybe. You see, the key word there is maybe, because he still does.
I'd like to point out I have a whole weekend off this weekend.
Well, that's not. I'm glad. I'm glad.
A whole weekend. I'm going to do normal things like a normal person does in their day off, like go to a barbecue.
Oh, well, that sounds good.
Unless the weather's rubbish. Then
well, I'm glad, because you deserve it. You're going to
finish watching Girls 5 Ever on Netflix. Going to do really normal things. A title match has been announced for Dynamite TE next week.
Yes, Tony Khan shared on Twitter a short while ago that Mercedes Moné will be defending her AEW TBS Championship on next week's Dynamite against CML star Zeuxis. Zeuxis is currently one half of the CMLL Women's Tag Team Champions alongside Mercedes' opponent for Forbidden Door, Stephanie Vaca. I don't think I've seen much of Zeuxis since the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. She was represented in the Mae Young Classic with Zeuxis. It's a nice opportunity to expose her to a wider audience as well.
Yeah,
and there's even a story reason to do it.
Exactly.
That's her tag team partner. As long as you inform people that's I know Tony Khan did that in a tweet, but as long as you kind of tell that story a little bit more on the day or beforehand, then we're all happy. Tell that story a little bit more. Stephanie Vaca and Mercedes Moné will fight for both the AEW TBS title and the New Japan Strong Women's title at Forbidden Door at the end of the month. However, there is currently a fight between AEW fans and the AEW merchandising team. So the Observer reported recently that AEW were looking to make cost-saving measures and cutbacks where they can within the company. Something that may have already filtered down through the merchandising department. This was a story that we talked about a bit last year, but it's reared its ugly head once again since the return of MJF. He's now got the Wolf of Wrestling moniker.
Yep.
And with that came a t-shirt. There is a Burberry wolf, which is the rarest of all the wolves. This has caught the eye and the dander of a lot of wrestling fans because this image is developed, was found on an Instagram page for a company called Record Time Designs, who create designs for shirts and such using AI. This is an AI-generated shirt, very much like the Scapegoat Jack Perry one was. They did a few last year as well. I remember a Kenny Omega shirt that was created through AI, and this is a worrying trend that we are seeing more and more.
Yes,
and I think there's a right to call this sort of thing out.
I think so, for sure, because as well within the wrestling community, there is so many talented fan artists as well. Well, I say fan, just artists in general. There's so many talented artists that do incredible artwork, just because they're fans and whatnot. And I feel like, I know you are cutting costs and whatnot, but I feel like it shouldn't come at the expense of art itself. And I feel like you should just reach out. If you don't have any ideas, just reach out to the artists online and just be like, do you want to collab? Do you want to do something?
I know they have done that previously because we have Mel Coleman on the books for AEW. If you remember when we had those Don Callis pictures, as portraits, they were done by Mel Coleman, who I believe has her own section on the AEW website now for all the amazing work that she's done. So Mel Coleman's on the books, and it's a great example of giving a lovely human who's very good at the arts, gainful employment through doing the art. And it's almost too easy just to go down the AI route and save a ton of money, regardless of whether you're a wrestling company or whoever. And obviously at the moment, AI is very much in the news. We made a video where we made wrestling theme music using AI for a laugh. For parody effect, that was absolutely the case. Are those musics that we think should replace some of Def Rebel songs? Maybe. No. No, of course not. Of course not. We can't be doing that sort of thing.
No.
Support artists.
Yes.
I think that's the big
absolutely
takeaway for today. Support your artists. On the podcast feed right now, I had a lovely chat with Drew McIntyre.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ahead of Clash at the Castle next weekend, Drew was on to talk about how he's feeling returning to Scotland. He talked about getting the sword from The Rock. He talked about the reception that CM Punk might get should he turn up in Scotland. We talked about that in the news video yesterday. And we asked the ultimate question with the WWE TNA relationship on the bubble. Does Drew McIntyre believe in Joe Hendry? The answer might surprise you. And it's on the podcast feed right now. And if you're a Patreon of ours, as a thank you, the video version is waiting for you as well right now at patreon.com/Cultaholic. Anything you want to plug?
Nothing at all. I just hope you have a nice weekend. We'll be back anyway with more news, won't we?
We'll be back. We'll be back before you know it. And we'll have plenty more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
I love you. Bye.